Good evening, everyone. My name is Chip Davis, and I'll be playing the guard this evening. And one aspect that we'd like to share with you about this play is if at any point during the performance or the documentary that you feel you agree with, or you would like to express that, just feel free to snap. At any point that you feel you'd like to express that. And secondly, there's a big part of this play is music. And we invite you to sing along with us during the songs that we sing, stand up and clap. And to that effect, we're going to do a little bit of a warm-up. So if you guys would like to stand up and join me, you can do this sitting down. We're just going to start with a simple beat, just a little clap thing, and then you're just going to repeat what I say after that. All right, so here we go. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we hope you enjoyed the performance.
Prison life.
I am guard, not one guard, but many. I have one mouth, but speak with many voices. I have 2 ears, and I have heard many stories.
I am prisoner, not one prisoner, but many. I have one mouth, but speak with many voices. I have 2 ears, and I have heard many stories.
I am tall, short, all shades of color.
Male, female, vicious, kind.
Don't give a damn.
I do time.
I do time in 8-hour shifts.
I do time all the time.
I am the public.
I'm the public.
I am the public.
I'm the public.
I'm the public. We are mothers.
Fathers.
Sisters.
Brothers.
We're the people who live in communities where 50 new prisons have been built every single year for the past 20 years.
You gotta be kidding. You're telling me that in the United States of America, 50 new prisons have been built every year for the past 20 years? Who would believe that?
It's a fact. We are the victims of crimes.
We are the families of guards.
We are the families of prisoners.
That's right.
Not us.
We're good Christians. We don't break the law.
Nobody in my family ever gone to jail.
Hey, wait a minute. My son is in prison and he's a good man. Not everybody who goes to prison is bad.
Not everybody in prison is good. You do the crime, you do the time.
Yeah? I used to think that too until my son landed himself in jail for a bit of nothing. And then all of his friends went free as birds.
Point! We live in the United States of America, where 1 out of every 138 of us has done time. ones that yearn to be heard, so every word is a testimony. This one is for my homie, locked up and wondering how can we fix the system that's got so many locked in prison. Brothers and fathers missing, white peas and mothers kissing, pictures of prodigal sons praying for their return, learning to live without them, never forget about them. But it's hard when he's 19 years old, no chance for parole, nothing to lose, so just another night in the hole. The only way to console the fears of dying here is to pray and put pen to paper. Joe that is trying here to make the most of the worst, to break the curse of this nation, moved on incarceration, 21st century plantations. This one goes out to all my homies, with hope that this message and these blessings reach all my homies. I fly 1,000 kites for my homies, with hope that this message and these blessings reach all my homies. I fly 1,000 kites, I fly 1,000 kites, in a land where there's no justice, where a man can steal 40 billion from the very ones who trust us, and spend less than 10 months in a country club, posing as a facility of corrections. On the other hand, a less fortunate man with temporary loss of direction can lose 18 years of his life for selling the free little OC pills. If you can't see the flaws in this process, I guess you never will. And it's sad that us community fail to see that we accept the policy that proves democracy to be hypocrisy. Building cages for babies while trying to teach them more reason before mistakes can be made. There's way too much money to be made. All just getting played while the rich are getting paid. It's time we examine why these laws have been made. I fly 1,000 kites for my homies, with hope that this message and these blessings reach all my homies. I fly 1,000 kites for my homies, with hope that this message and these blessings reach all my homies. I fly 1,000 kites, I fly 1,000 kites, I fly 1,000 kites for my homies, with hope that this message and these blessings reach all my homies. I fly 1,000 kites for my homies, with the hope that this message and these blessings reach all my homies.
Maximum security.
State, 2 a.m.
They got that from Billy. Well, I can't say our son was a perfect child, but he grew up to be a good man.
He was the first one in our family to ever go to college. He said he didn't want to spend his life working in the coal mines and end up broken down, like his daddy done.
Oh, no, sir, he wanted a state job.
He wanted benefits. Said he wanted to be a park ranger.
Well, it turns out there aren't many forest ranger jobs to be had.
So somebody said, why don't you come and work at the new prison? It's a government job.
So, he went clear on down to the other end of the state.
And took the prison training.
I started out at one of the older maximum security state prisons. We had no weapons, just keys. Now, if the keys were ever taken from you, everything could be lost. My first day on the job, I was assigned to let the inmates on the second tier pass through the tier gate to go eat. The lead officer was stationed on the floor above me. Now, he was supposed to flip open 2 cells at a time. Then I was supposed to unlock the tier gate, let the 2 prisoners pass through, lock the gate back, then wait for the lead officers to unlock the next 2 cells. Well, I took my post by the gate as I was instructed. But the lead officer flips the master switch and lets all of them, all 88 of them, out of their cells at once. Well, I threw my keys under the locked tier gate as I've been trained to do. I was now responsible for getting every single one of the 88 back into their cells. Remember, I had no weapon. There are no words to describe the way I felt. I've never been locked in with 88 men who would just as soon see me dead. But I maintained my post. And somehow, I don't know how, I got them all back in their cells. When it was over, I stormed up to the lead officer's post. And I grabbed hold of the railing in front of him just to keep from strangling him. I fully intended to kill that son of a bitch. He just laughed. Said, looks like you didn't wet yourself or cry like a baby. You might make it here.
Schedule.
3:35 a.m.
Prisoner kitchen workers in place.
If you cause any kind of trouble, I'll shoot you.
That was my welcome. As I got off the bus with the Supermax from the corrections officer. And then he yanked my eyeglasses off my face and said,
"These are dangerous contraband."
I was shackled at the ankles. My hands were cuffed in front of me to my waist with a belly chain. And the CO, who was wielding a shotgun, yells,
This ain't church, this ain't school, and it ain't a place to rehabilitate yourself. It's prison.
I knelt on the floor and a slot in the door 3 feet from the ground opened. I was ordered to stick my hands through and the cuffs were removed.
Now strip!
A voice barked. What he said next, what I had to do, so vile. I'll not repeat it. But I will tell you what I was thinking. It won't be fun when the rabbit gets the gun. No, sir, it won't.
When my son was incarcerated, he was in college and we wanted to keep him going. My whole attitude was, though he is in prison, prison does not have to be in him.
But when he first went to the prison, he refused to see us.
He felt that his life was over.
That first year, I didn't think he was going to make it. I thought he'd commit suicide or something.
We are a close religious family, and we absolutely refused to give up. We kept coming to see him, his brothers and his aunts and his uncles, everybody.
And now, 5 years later, he's taking correspondence classes to finish his college degree. And he's tutoring inmates who can't read or write.
Schedule.
5 a.m.
Insolent.
Finger sticks and shots.
I raised my kids in a place out in the country. And crime just never played a role in our lives. I mean, it really didn't. I left my keys in the front door, so I'd know where they were.
Crime? You know, in the city, it's hard to tell who's worse, the gangs or the police. Every day, I feel like my babies are being hunted like animals.
Well, my baby sister, whom I raised, is on the needle. Now, yesterday I had to go up to court with her. Right before we were ready to go before the judge, she grabs hold of my arm and whispers in my ear, "Don't worry, I'm Wonder Woman." Actually said that she was Wonder Woman, that nothing could harm her. And then she whispers in my ear, "I just got 2 new tires for my Chevy Cavalier, you know, to outrun the police." Don't tell. I've known the judge most of my whole life, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, what are we going to do about this situation here? She is crazy. We've got to go ahead and get her incarcerated. And he's just like, it's just the system. You can't rush it up. She comes from a good home. Blah, blah, blah.
Here recently, in the space of a year, I have been to 2 funerals for kids in their 20s. One hanged himself in prison, and the other was a drug overdose. Well, now I mentioned this to a young girl that I know. I said, when I was your age, I didn't know anybody my age who had died. And then she says,
I couldn't tell you the number of my friends who are either dead or in jail.
Dead or in jail.
One's dead.
I want to be a criminal when I grow up. Criminals live good and have all the luck. Couldn't have a bike because my mom was too poor. My dad's been gone since I was 3 or 4. What's all this fuss about going to school and getting A's and B's don't seem too cool? I'm not feeling school because I need to get money. Plus, I know about the streets, so I ain't no dummy. I've been to jail before and it wasn't that bad. First couple of days, my mom wasn't that mad. I've seen a hell of a lot just being in my teens. criminal dreams. I know the drug game will really pay off, but I gotta get a gun to prove I'm not so soft. Look at all this cash. I have a job. Things get slow, I got the gun to rob. I'm a gangster now, so I just pull the trigger. Besides, who cares about another dead figure? I don't know anything about this legal stuff. I hate wearing these tight-ass cuffs. I need to take a plea because I can't beat the case. They had too many people identify my face. Everyone I call has a block on their phone. How could this be when I was so well known? I got a federal judge. He said he's mean. Never saw this in my criminal dreams. I'm in jail now, and it's not what I thought. If I wasn't getting high, I'd never gotten caught. I need to hurt the first one who steps out of line. But if I hurt him too bad, I'm gonna run on my time. The word seems to be don't go to the hole. My life sure changed since the first day I stole. Last year, a man got shot for fighting. But it's not really news because nobody's writing. If I stay up late, I can hear the screams. I never heard them in my criminal dreams.
Schedule.
5:30 a.m. Pill call.
General population in vestibule.
Segregation and pod.
When they first took my son to prison, he was in a wheelchair because he had both of his knees replaced. They put him in this real little room with no bed or nothing. He spent 4 weeks on the floor. Well, I did okay when I was at the jail. But then when I got back to the house, I realized that I probably wouldn't live to see him come home.
They took my baby sister up from the courtroom up to the jail, and I tried to find out things, but I could not find out anything. So I went on home. And then she calls me. So there were 8 people in her cell. No bed, no pillows. Well, see, as a child, she always slept with 3 pillows. And so I got back in the car, drove out to Walmart, and got her a pillow. I took it on out to the jail, but the officer at the front desk said,
No, we do not allow that.
Just 1 pillow?
She never hurt nobody.
Schedule.
6 a.m. Breakfast.
Segregation food card delivered.
General population according to theme schedule.
Prison food. My son says you get the weirdest stuff being served to you in prison. Not food so much, but more like condiments. You get Charlie's ketchup, and you get the McDonald's napkins. Companies use it as a tax write-off or something.
I used to always eat with the same guys. One of them was originally from Cambodia. We closely inspected our food for, hair, bugs, mud, stuff like that. This Cambodian guy, he'd always give me his milk. I was like, why don't you drink it, man? At least it's something they can't mess with. And he looks at me and says, how can you drink that stuff? They treat us like animals. Then they feed us pet food. I was like, what are you talking about? Pet food, man. He says, look, man, right here on the carton, it said pet milk.
You want to know what my day is like? Let's start at 5:30 with a bright-ass light. Next comes breakfast at 6:30. The coffee's cold, the tray's dirty. First call for showers and rec. CO already checking my set. While I break sweat, nothing new to them, shaking my cell down. Happens all the time, still messes with my mind. Go out to the yard for a break and come back. Now it's time to hit the sack. I'll wake up an hour later, some cold cuts for lunch. Think it's turkey bologna, but that's just a hunch. Then I get my read on with the TV on. I gotta see my soaps. Damn, Victor done fired Phyllis for sleeping with Nick. But is anyone pissed? Sharon's kissed. Then I get my read on with the TV on and gotta see my soaps. Then it's eat, read, sleep, and stand. Inappropriate behavior with my hand. Hey, it happens. No need for snapping. 6:30. 6:30 mail call, everybody stands. Everyone knowing it's just a mirage. At 11, I catch the news with Jay Leno, a little Jimmy Kimmel Live. Yeah, no lie, I stayed late, only for blind date. Well, that's a day in the life of a convicted felon. I've been doing time 11 years for not telling. Enough talk, I need to get some rest. I'll wake up tomorrow, same place, same stress. Same day in, day out, same flight, same bright-ass light.
Schedule.
9:30 a.m.
Prison account.
Standing.
If you step across the red painted line without permission, it will be considered an act of aggression and will result in the use of firepower.
All of this was new to me, but you can bet I caught on fast. They say that prison is the poor man's college, the school of life. You learn about surviving because at any point in time you could be killed.
If you approach any person too fast, it will be considered an act of aggression and will result in the use of firepower.
The officers don't give a damn about you. They're here for 8 hours. If an inmate were to be killed in 8 hours, they'd still go home to their families for their paychecks.
Some of the officers at the Supermax feel they have a lot of authority over the inmates. Some of them have never dealt with anything like that before, and I think it goes to their heads. See, when folks come in here, they come from the cities, from up north. Most of the corrections officers are white. Most of the inmates are black. This bothers the prisoners, you know. They say things like, "You're a white person, and you're guarding me? Now you know that's not right because I'm black." They think we're KKK or something like that.
First time I lent an inmate $5, he didn't pay me back. So I went to an old head and I told him about it. He asked me, did I want to lose the respect I had? So I found this kid that owed me $5. And I beat the crap out of him. I did it in front of everybody too, because I wanted them to know that I was for real. I got put in the hole for 10 days. When I got out, word has it that this kid that owed me $5, he got turned into a punk. Sure enough, chow time, the owner of this new punk finds me and pays me back my $5. I guess it's the end of another lesson learned.
Who's weak and who ain't matters in prison.
That's what it's all about.
Schedule.
11 a.m. Lunch.
Outside recreation, general population.
Rotate building commissary.
When they incarcerate your child, they incarcerate the whole family. Before that happened to me, I never voted. My family never voted. We just stayed home, minded our own business. No, I wound up down at the state capitol talking to the senators and the delegates there, and really I see they're no better than we are. They're out there trying to climb a political ladder, trying to look good to the public out here, but they're not concentrating on what's important.
And to beat all, They must think we're millionaires. What? The prison gives my son 2 rolls of toilet paper and 1 cake of soap a month. The rest he has to buy from the prison canteen. Now, we have to send him $100 a week because they charge such ridiculous prices.
To talk to a loved one in prison, you might as well take out a bank loan. They charge us $2.50 to hook up each call and 20 cents a minute.
They make a lot of money off of us, don't you know?
Good Lord, do they think we're millionaires?
5, 6, 7, 8. Rogues in the White House, thieves in the hall, they all join hands and see how rules fall. Dance around day after day, time to pay the fiddler just a bit.
Swing and sway one more time. Raise their own pay one more time. More taxes today one more time. As we dance down to the welfare line.
Johnny's in a racket, got that war. Mama can't hardly sleep no more. Sissy's on drugs, ain't that a sin? Taking that OxyContin.
Swing and sway one more time. No rehab today one more time. Our children pay one more time. As we dance down to the welfare line.
Found a big meth lab in the house next door, and Walmart built a superstore. Built another supermarket, and they say, well, everything's so around here today.
Swing and sway one more time. Take our jobs away one more time. Nothing left but a life of crime. As we dance down to the welfare line.
Can't drive a car 'cause we're too poor. Can't afford gasoline no more. And this time we can't but we spend all the money from can to can.
Swing and sway one more time. Squeeze us today one more time. Every time he calls, he is crying. As we dance down to the welfare line.
Well, I went to the doctor the other day. Said I can't treat you 'cause you can't pay. Guess I'll have to die and go to heaven. Hope like hell it don't cost to get in.
Swing and sway one more time. People sick and people dying. Sick and tired of even trying. As we dance down to the welfare line.
Schedule.
12 p.m.
Segregation food cart delivered.
Meals stand pause.
You'll get 2 people with the same offenses sentenced entirely different ways. Well, one will get 2 years, one will get 18, no parole. See, it's all according to what's hot in the judge's jurisdiction. If everyone's worried about methamphetamine, then that's what gets the big sentences. Bigger than murderers sometimes. See, when I first started working at the Supermax, most folks came here to the mountains from far away. That's changing. Mostly because there's no funding for substance abuse treatment in the mountains. It's just not popular. So they put them in prison. The other day, a new inmate gives me this strange look. He calls me my full name. Turns out, he was a kid I went to school with over on Caney Ridge. I never would have recognized him. He looked as old as my daddy. I don't see no faces. I don't feel no pain. Heard somebody call my name. Population, civilian, it's all the same.
Heard somebody call my name.
Black and white, rich and poor.
Heard somebody call my name.
Thief, murderer. The the boy next door.
Heard somebody call my name. I heard somebody call my name, Lord. Heard somebody call my name. Through all this grief, despair, and pain, I heard somebody call my name.
My mama told me when I was born.
Heard somebody call my name.
That old-time religion would open any door.
Heard somebody call my name.
But mama's never been here late at night.
Heard somebody call my name.
Hearing things she's never heard before.
Heard somebody call my name.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Heard somebody call my name.
Never did time in this hole.
Heard somebody call my name. I heard somebody call my name, Lord. Heard somebody call my name. Through all this grief, despair, and pain, I heard somebody call my name.
Can't talk to my father. Can't talk to my wife.
Heard somebody call my name.
They're living their lives while I'm doing life.
Heard somebody call my name.
I keep having to scream, and I wake with a shout.
Heard somebody call my name.
Well, I get to the gate and I can't get out.
Heard somebody call my name. I heard somebody call my name, Lord. Heard somebody call my name. Through all this grief, despair, and pain, I heard somebody call my name.
Schedule.
1:30 p.m.
Prisoner count.
Standing.
I work in the library. I'm one of the few who has a job. Most of these guys have to stay in their cells all day long with nothing to do. Every time I'm escorted to the library, they have to do a strip search. Well, one of these officers obviously has some issues. Every time he's conducting the search, he looks in all the wrong places and sweats profusely. Sometimes it's like he's eating popcorn like for dinner in a movie from him or something.
Some inmates, you'll never hear a peep out of. They're no different from you or me. Then there are those who get in trouble most every day. They end up in segregation.
First time I was in the hole, the guy in the cell next to me, he threw his tray on the officer. I thought to myself, this guy must be crazy. 30 minutes goes by, and all I can hear is this guy begging the officer not to beat him anymore. Crying and screaming like a little girl. You see, if you do something like that to one of these officers, they're not going to fight you one-on-one. They're going to come at you 10 strong.
Adrenaline takes over when there's a dangerous incident with an inmate. But I must keep a cool head, stone face. Never raise my voice. Stand my ground. Never, ever show fear. Afterwards, when I'm filling out the incident report, my hand shakes so bad, I have to write it over 3 times. But I never let anyone know this. Nobody. Not even my wife.
Me and my husband and my son and daughter-in-law had always been church-going people. We were faithful, going to church most every night of the week. But it got to where my didn't really care much about going to church. When he came home from work, he spent most of his time just talking on the telephone with the same people he worked with at the prison. He pulled away from his wife, from his family, from everything, just sort of left us behind. Prison life became his whole life.
I kept a diary the first year I worked in the prison. At the end of each day's entry, it says, "That's it. I quit."
Schedule.
Visitation dress regulations.
Visitors may wear casual dress that is reasonable and appropriate. The department reserves the right to refuse admittance to inappropriately dressed visitors. The body must be covered. Hem, splits, or slits of dresses, skirts, shorts, etc. may not exceed more than 4 inches above mid-knee. Underwear is required. No halter tops, tube tops, or tank tops. No pocketbooks, handbags, or wallets will be allowed in the visiting room. Males dressed as females will not be admitted.
Families, and mamas in particular, they see their kids like they were when they were little. The mamas don't see the things their son's doing here. During visitation, some families come up to me and rake me over the coals for being mean to their little boys. Then there are those who come up to me and tell me to beat the crap out of their kid, because last week he talked back to them on the phone. I'm serious.
When we go to visit my son in prison, we leave home after I get off work and drive all night. My husband and my daughter-in-law and her 2 babies go with us. We get there about 6 in the morning. Well, they don't open up until 8:30, so we sit and wait. If we find out that they're in lockdown and there's no visitation that day, we just have to turn around and drive all day to get back home.
Well, I haven't seen my son in 5 years. Such a long way to come, and I really have no way to get there, you know? And so, when I finally got to see him, I was like, what's these shackles all about?
Negativity is engraved in the mind of the slave who walks around the prison yards content in his grave. He don't want to be saved because he's afraid of life. He'd rather hold tight while his fam visit the site and drop flowers off in the form of currency, because currently he's lying 6 under feet. Their fears get fed as their tears is shed. They want to see him alive, but he's here instead. Words get said in ways that seem kind of scary. Letters are wrote and read like obituaries. I miss you, son. I miss you, brother and friend. I hold time that was spent in good remembrance. When he called on the phone, they speak to his ghost. Sometimes mom's voice crack because she miss him the most. His kids need him the most. Yeah, they're feeling the pain. They only know daddy because they remember his name. It's a crying shame, and that's why stains beyond pillows and weeping willows mourn for his black widow. But he's sub-zero and frozen to the fact that he needs to rise out of this inhabitat and get back to life where good things live. In order to get to heaven, hell is what he's got to give. His bid is a far cry from home. His state number is the tombstone to mark where they buried his bones. Grave, prison, yards.
Schedule.
3 p.m.
Insulin.
Finger sticks and shots.
I never dreamed of a child of mine going to prison. I never thought about all of those people in prison. But now, I know. I know to pray for them. Each and every one of them. Every day.
At my son's prison, there's a mentally retarded fellow who's done 8 years on 15. This man comes from a big family, lots of little brothers and sisters, you know, and they live too far away to ever visit. Oh. Each year at Christmas time, we can order these little packages from the prison commissary to be given to our son for a gift, you know. So this year, my son calls me up and asks if we can send him some extra money for postage. He said that he and a couple of the other inmates were saving their little packages and sending them to this retarded fellow's family. Because those packages were the only Christmas this family would get. So if this family's whole Christmas is coming from packages that were given to inmates in prison, well, you can just imagine.
Sparkling coils of razor-tipped ribbon, top of metal mesh or fence, freshly washed by rain, glint of sun on gray metal, glistening helix with tiny teeth. It catches my eye for a moment. I'm trapped within. My eye can soar to the heavens. My heart is blind to the sea. But my mind is struck with a memory. Ribbons of wire with tiny teeth, carefully designed to cut cloth and flesh, now catches sparks of sun, scintillation, moment's hesitation. Helix is bejeweled with diamonds. I seek the treasure in the trap.
The joy and the despair.
The peace of a simple life.
The beauty that was not intended.
That can be seen and kept as a gift.
A gift.
Schedule.
5:30 p.m.
Segregation food card delivered.
My brother and me, we were working minimum wage jobs before we got out of prison. Not long after we started, I could tell he wasn't going to stick with it. He'd say to me, "The prisoners hate us." And I'd tell him, they have their own world and we do not enter into it. He'd say, "Don't you see how these people live? Young people, old people, different colors. And a lot of them in here for life. It's a sad, hopeless place to work." So he quit. Now he's mowing grass with a push mower and a weed eater out of the back of his car. Says he's a whole lot poorer now, but a lot more satisfied. Me? I feel like I'm protecting my family, neighbors, you know, society. I don't ever want to see a member of my family the victim of rape or murder or child molester. No. I've learned to keep a cool head, never argue, do whatever it takes to walk away from a prisoner filled with pride and anger who's baiting me. When this doesn't work and an attack ensues, I'd rather be tried by 13 than carried by 6.
place ain't about rehabilitation. It's about fear. It's about anger. It's about humiliation. It's about power. Who's got a new aim?
It's about staying strong, no matter what happens.
Don't we, the public, have a say?